Hey guys, so today we're going to be fixing up my old green iguana enclosure right here. This thing is absolutely massive. I can go ahead and step inside, but first I want to sand the outside more than I did originally, like on the bottom and on the sides and stuff. I don't even think I ever sanded that, and the bottom just looks real gross, so I just want to do that. And then the steps from there are going to be cleaning the bottom so then it looks like white and nice, and trying to get as much silicone off as I can. And then I will go ahead and rub, rubbing alcohol on the bottom and then reseal it because for some reason it's leaking. And then, as you can see, the iguana really teared up the background. So I'm going to fix that as well, but I probably won't get that today. Today I pretty much just plan on sanding because it's getting colder outside for some reason randomly, and I don't want to go ahead because like here I'm gonna have to set this up and scrub it, and I don't want to work with water right now out here while it's cold. And yeah, so I'm just gonna just sand it, and then there are my goats. That's who you hear in the background are my two goats. So while I had this terrarium set up, I noticed a couple things wrong with it. The background was kind of not as strong as I would like, I guess, for a green iguana. And then the bottom started leaking, and as you can see here, it kind of not quite rotted, but kind of made the very bottom of the enclosure gross. So I wanted to go ahead and sand that away because I don't know, it was just kind of gross and I wanted it to look better, I guess. And then also the outside, as I had said, I don't think I ever sanded it before, and it's made out of old pallet wood, so I went ahead and sanded that, and then as well as the top. And once I was done sanding everything, I needed to clean the bottom because, and I mean the inside of the bottom, because it had old dirt and whatnot in it, but the last while of having my green iguana in here, I didn't have any substrate in it, so the bottom got like really gross with like iguana poop and whatnot, so I need to scrub that out. So I went ahead and emptied any I vacuumed out any dirt or anything like that, and then I went ahead and scrubbed the bottom. It still had like a yellow stain to it just from being filled with dirt for a while. But once I was done emptying it out and hosing it out even, I went ahead and rubbed some rubbing alcohol on it and on the bottom, and then I added more silicone. And then I added more expanding foam, and then as you saw right there, I then carved that expanding foam a bit just in the places that I felt that it was needed. And then I went ahead and added more. I patched up any holes the iguana had made while he went through his phase of trying to get out all the time. And as you can see here, it happened really bad, and it caused a lot of patches and areas that you could see through the foam, which was completely unideal. And then my father and my brother suggested that I stain it because I do plan on selling this, and I currently have it for sale. And that was one thing that they thought would make it go faster, which I agree. I don't, as you guys will see here, it looks so much better once it is, once it is stained. Like, it's insane that I didn't do it the first time, but I went ahead and taped it off here so then I wouldn't get any on the inside, any stain that is. And then I also screwed in the top. Now, they were nailed in before, and if you tried to lift them, then they would pop right off, which really sucked for trying to move it around. So I went ahead and screwed it in before I stained it. But staining it was pretty simple. I did the top first because I guess I thought it'd be the hardest part. But it was actually the front. The front was pretty difficult because I had to get like the bottom of those pieces as well as the top, which made it pretty difficult, and I couldn't trip or anything like that. And then I did the sides, but I ran out before I could do the back. I didn't really need to do the back, but that is just how this project went. I don't think it'll really matter, and I'm sure whoever will end up buying it won't look at the back of it. So I think that this build's gonna be really great for somebody else, but I don't have any room for it, and I'm just gonna move on to other builds now. So here is the finished product, what I'll actually be trying to get rid of. Now, if I had to redo this project like today, I would use like aluminum channeling for the doors. I would use glass for the sliding doors as well, rather than plexiglass, because as you can see, these are really hard to open still, and they slide a lot better with it being stained and varnished, but they slouch, which is one thing that glass doesn't do, and these seem to be really easy to mark up. So I would definitely do those two things. I would use the epoxy for the inside rather than shower walling, and I would use dry lock rather than the silicone method. If I was doing it for an iguana, I would use dry lock, which I did for my new iguana cage. And those are just a couple things right off the top of my head that I would change. And I will be doing a Crested Gecko build that's quite large that will use some of that new different techniques that I didn't quite know when I was making that old iguana cage. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like down below. If you have any comments or concerns, put in the comments below. And if you want more content, then subscribe. This is where the new Crested Gecko enclosure will go. It's going to be very, very large, and it will be awesome.